Right, we're back. I'm so sorry for the delay. I hope everybody can hear us. We've had a little bit of audio issues. The bands must have been in the summer house during the week, and they've messed on, and it's took us ages to get it sorted. But we're here. Grab a cuppa. We'll see you in 60 seconds. Yes, Gary, can you hear us?
Yes. Aye, we're back.
I can hear you. Welcome back to Talking Turf, everybody. What an entertaining weekend that was, Gary, yeah?
Oh, honestly. It's been meant again, but again for me, back to the referees again. Refereeing decisions have highlighted the weekend again, and everyone's talking about them wherever you can. Poor decisions, but we'll get into that, I'm sure.
Oh, we'll get into it, mate. It kicked off on Friday night down at Anfield. Liverpool hosted Bournemouth. The score finished 4-2. Liverpool looked quite comfortable, to be honest with you, mate. They went 1-0 up through the new side in Ekitiki. Gakpo just after half-time making it 2-0. There was a little bit of racist abuse hurled at Semenyo from the disabled section of Anfield. I mean, the guy was pulled straight away, and Semenyo reacted in the right way. I've never seen it before, mate. He's gone to the referee. The referee's come over. He's pulled the two managers in. He's telling them what's happened. Then you heard the announcement come over saying whatever court it was, and the guy was arrested. Semenyo back on his feet though, mate, and he turned the game around on his own. I think he scored a goal, 2-1, and then 2-2 with an excellent solo goal. And I thought Bournemouth are going to come back here and potentially win it, but commentators curse. They took off Wirtz and brought on Chiesa, and Jamie Carragher's words were, that's an absolutely stupid substitution. Within 2 minutes, Chiesa gives Liverpool the lead again, 3-2 in the 88th minute against Bournemouth, and then Mo Salah gets his regular opening game goal, making it 4-2 to Liverpool, mate, and they come away with 3 points. Like I say, they looked comfortable in the first half, but then when Semenyo brought it back, I thought it could have went either way, but they end up getting the 3 points. Did you watch it, and how did you see that, mate?
I did watch it. Like I say, I mean, Liverpool in the first half, they looked decent, but Bournemouth sort of looked like they were soaking it up to me. Second half, they really had a go, and when Bournemouth had a go, they absolutely ripped Liverpool to bits. Mm-hmm. And then what happened was that they got themselves back in the game with 2-1, and then, like you say, it 2s each. I mean, that goal by Semenyo picks it up just on the edge of his own box and ran the full length of the pitch. I mean, I don't know what the two centre-halves were doing, because both of them ran away from him. And like you say, he turned the game on its head. At that point, Bournemouth have got to go and win that game. They've got to go and win that game. They were miles on top. Absolutely battering Liverpool. Liverpool didn't know what to do with them. What they've done is, I turned around to lad. I watched an elephant after the kids' training. I called it an elephant for the second half. I turned around to the lad's Liverpool fan, and I says, Bournemouth will win this game if they keep doing what they're doing. If they even try to settle for a point here, Liverpool will beat them. And he's a Liverpool fan. It was Kai Rowley. And he turned around and he went, "There's no way Liverpool can win this game now, I can't." So I'm telling you, you give people of that class enough time on the edge of the box, like what Bournemouth done. They sat back and they thought it was so good. You can't do that for 15 minutes in the Premier League. You can't do it. It's, especially against Liverpool, it's criminal.
Liverpool,
and that's what happened.
Aye. I mean, I think they're going to get fun doing it at the back if they didn't bring somebody in. I like Frimpong, mind. I do. But Contact was put on his arse. And Van Dijk's aging. I just think they'll struggle, and I think teams know that, and they'll target their defence. But you cannot rule out that their attacking force. Wait, I thought was very good. Ekitike, what did I think? Ekitike, he did well, didn't he, for his first game, really?
He done some really good stuff. Like, he's in a new team, isn't he? Like, some of his link-up I thought was class. And he's got... you know what he's like when he picks the ball up? He's got one thing in his mind, and that's to drive the team forward. I love that in the forward because I hate like people that just play on the back to go the whole time. His first instinct is to turn and run with the ball, and I love that because especially if you're under pressure, you can get your team up the pitch. I think
defenders hate it.
Defenders hate it. I think as like a debut game, I think it was a mid performance. I think when he went off, I think that changed the game as well. That Bournemouth came back into it.
I think they'll win a lot of games, but I don't think they're going to have it as easy as they did last season in the opening 20, 25 games. I think they'll find it a lot harder. Bournemouth, do you think Semenyo stays there? Do you think somebody comes in for him later on, or what?
Well, I think Arsenal was out of the way, as he wanted. He looks like he's going to Spurs now, and the rumours are starting, and apparently they've been back on to Semenyo. Personally, I think Semenyo's class. I think he's exactly what Arsenal. But they've just bought Madueke. They've got Saka. They've got Martinelli. Like, they've got Nwaneri, that young kid. Like, does Semenyo really want to be gone there? Like,
I wouldn't go to Arsenal, mate. Even now, at 42-year-old, and if they offered us 20 grand a week, they are absolutely vile. Vile. Imagine, you know what it is? We sat through it with Louis van Gaal, and it was boring shit football. We'll come to Arsenal anyway. We'll move on. Your man is in the chat saying evening, lads. Good evening, Amanda.
Hi, good evening.
Liam Harper's there. Harper.
Hello, Liam, lad.
Yes, I'll see you on Sunday at Fulham Walkhead. Gaming Legend 2016 has got to be Melvin. He probably loves Tom Heaton. It is. Look, he's put it in below. It is Melvin. Ruben should play Heaton more often. Heaton kept a clean sheet for Bournemouth. You know what? It's hard to disagree with him because when you look at the other two keepers, Tom Heaton does he does all the basics, doesn't he? I don't think he's the option that we need. I think we need a goalkeeper desperately. We'll come to Man United because we'll just get slated for constantly talking about them, right? Moving on to Saturday, the 12:30 kickoff was at Villa Park. It was against Aston Villa against Newcastle. Not much really to talk about, to be honest with you. And I know that people aren't going to like that about the game anyway, but we will talk about other things. The stats show that Newcastle did, they had most possession, especially in the first half. I don't know if you watched it. Newcastle were good. They needed to capitalise in that first half. They had a good few chances. Elanga was one-on-one, hit it straight at the goalkeeper. I thought Aston Villa were really, really poor, slow. They looked tired. I thought Newcastle had glimpses of good passion, good play, but, and it's a massive but, Newcastle really need to sort this Isak situation out, and they need to sort it out now because they are going to struggle this season to score goals. It's as simple as that. And if something happens to Gordon, who's a goal scorer, or something happens to Elanga, or even Jacob Murphy, they brought this Elanga in, and they've got Jacob Murphy there, who assisted 20 goals last season or something, and I don't know that they had to bring a striker in, and especially with what's happening with Isak. If you're a Toon fan, you've got to be worried. You've got to be worried. Somebody said to me the other day, I'll quickly come to you in 2 seconds, right? I was having grief on Twitter with somebody, right, on X, and they were saying, why should we have to sell? It's Big Six, Cartel, PSR. My reply was this. Look, listen, right. Liverpool had to sell. Coutinho, can you remember? You have to sell players. It's as simple as that. What you have to do is buy 3 or 4 players or 5 players like you did, like Linton, Gomes, Isaac, Gordon. You nurture them, which is Eddie is absolutely fantastic at. Don't get us wrong. He's very good at it. You nurture them. You get one superstar, like a superstar, like Isaac, who is Premier League proven. You can get 130 million for him, 140 million. He's definitely worth that, 100%, because he can score goals for fun and put him into an excellent team, and he'll score even more goals, I believe. You get an Isaac, you sell him for 140 million. Then your PSR guns up, right? Then your recruitment team go it again and buy another 4 or 5 players. They come in, and he nurtures them. One superstar comes out, you sell them for 150 million. So that's 280 million that you've made in 3 years, let's say, right? But you've got now 9 good, decent players there, and you've sold 2. So if you do that for another 2 years, all of a sudden you've got a massive squad of good players. Your PSR is absolutely flying. You've got to do it. But I don't know if they just think that they're going to come in, be the richest club in the world, and going to be able to buy everybody. It isn't going to happen. You need to take your baby steps, and then you will get there. It's as simple as that. Man City went a different way about it, Gary, before the rules came in. But similar kind of thing. Like I said, Liverpool had to sell players. We sell players years ago. We've had to sell players. Ronaldo, Beckham, Keane. You've got to sell your players. It's as simple as that. You would love to keep Adam. And on the other hand, why would you want to keep Isaac, in my opinion? Like I said, everybody in that group chat, right? It's like coming in from work, right? Your lass's phone pings, and it pings up, and it's one of your enemies. And you click on it, and you're like, eh. And just texting them saying, I really want to be with you. You're not letting us sleep in the big bed that night, are you? You're not, are you? Go on, where you going?
$1,000,000%. They're going to be 4 games in. They're going to be 4 games in, and it's going to drag on. The first thing Eddie Howe said at the end of the game, because it's every single time the bloke stands in front of the camera, and I feel sorry for him. Every single time it's Isaac. Like, he doesn't need it. Like, and I get, like, Newcastle fans love him, and they've got every right. He's the best player, but at the end of the day, he does not want to be there. You've just got to let him go. You've got to let him go. Whether you tell him, look, we're not selling to Liverpool, right? You put, like, get the owners, someone to stand in front of the camera, come out and go, right, Isaac can leave. The price is 140 million. We've told Liverpool that. It's either 150 to Liverpool or it's 120 to Barcelona or Real Madrid. If he gets to Saudi, he can go in there for 120. We don't care. But that's what it is. Until someone's pays that, just come and tell the fans. Like, name one knows what is going on. Like, the fans are sitting there. But in the meantime, go and buy Mateta or someone for 40 million. If he's available for 40 million, you need a striker to stand in that box and score your goals. You're playing with 3 wingers. Anthony Elanga will not score 10 goals this season. He'll not.
No.
He won't. He is not the answer.
I don't think he's a good. Don't get us wrong. He's a good player, and he'll create.
Yeah.
I think they already had.
He's a runner. He's a runner.
Murphy, Barnes, Gordon, and Osula. Have you seen that Osula run? I don't think he's a striker. I think he's a winger, but I like him. He brings good energy. He's a character. He gets stuck in, and you can tell he's playing for the badge. So why would you want to bring somebody else in? Strengthen other places. The midfield was never the problem last year, Gary. It was mint. No. It was one of the best midfields in the Premier League.
Why did they let Callum Wilson leave? Like, until you've got a replacement? Like, why?
Nah.
Like, why are you letting your only goal scorer leave? Like, he's the only striker. They haven't got another striker there. Langa's not a striker. He's just not.
No,
you've got to go and buy someone. Like, how long are you going to wait?
And you know what? People call, especially in my group, Gary, and say, like this, that, and the top about it. But at the end of the day, Newcastle's got Champions League this year as well. So you've got the Premier League, the Champions League, you've got Carabao Cup, and the FA Cup. And they're trying to keep, like they've won the Carabao Cup. They're the reigning champions. So they'll want to do well in that. So they'll not want to be putting the reserves out. It's a lot of games to get through. And I honestly, genuinely think that they're going to struggle. That's just my opinion. Devon shoot the messenger.
But Boring game. Saying enough,
Boring
obviously. Changes
And
games.
it doesn't get any easier for them. We've obviously got Liverpool this weekend at home. I know it's at St James's Park and the crowd. It's a hard place to go on, but where they're gonna get the goals from? That's what I'm thinking. Where is the? Because I honestly watched that game on Saturday morning and thought these could play for 2 weeks and they'll never score. Honestly, and they never look like scoring. Apart from the first half, when a couple of chances. But the second half, when Villa put it on a little bit, neither team looked like scoring. Ollie Watkins was absolutely terrible. Shocking.
For the Newcastle's creating, they need someone in the box. It's plain simple. They've just got to sort that out.
But you know what it is? Apparently, Isaac had told them last season that he was leaving. So they've had all that time. And like you say, they've let Callum Wilson go. None that this was going to happen. He's still a goal scorer. Before Isaac come, he was banging them in for him. At the end of the day, right, put it this way, right? Let's just put it nice and simple before we move on to Brighton, right? If Callum Wilson is running through like Elanga did, 1-on-1.
He scores.
Is it 1-0 or does he hit the keeper?
It's 1-0.
It's 1-0. And that's it. We'll leave it there. Brighton 1, Fulham 1, mate. Brighton held the lead for quite a while. They had a goal disallowed in the 4th minute through Minter. But O'Reilly scored a penalty in the 55th minute. They thought they had it in the bag until there was 9 minutes of injury time added on, and Rodrigo Muniz scored in the 97th minute for Fulham, making it 1 each, and the spoils were shared. What did you make of that, Gary?
Fulham, I mean, I think we both said like they would struggle. I did say like he is a good striker. Him, I'm sure Leeds have been like had a couple of bids in from that Muniz. I fancied Brighton to win that game, like, but good point in the end for Fulham, though, isn't it? Good
Definitely.
point.
Good point. Yeah. We obviously play them this weekend. Jake Hall's in there. Roll on Sunday at Fulham. Yes, I'll be there, pal. I'll be sitting right behind the goal, hoping to get the same ball that Gary got last year. Your man is in. True, shouldn't have let Wilson go till they had a striker sorted. Fair enough, she says, I agree, but it's the way he went about it more than anything.
But you just want to buy Wissa, and he's going about it exactly the same way, and no one's talking about it.
Aye, and not just that, though.
What is the difference?
The man's just help you get Champions League football. Won you the Carabao Cup, really? It was 1-0. It was, and he scored the second goal. Like, is that enough? If he was promised to move, if he was promised to move, like everybody's saying behind the scenes, then
you can just see the Peter Wingy thing coming out again. Can't you? He's like going to be sitting at Anfield, and he's going to be sitting there in his car going,
aye.
Oh, no, they're going to say, no, we haven't got permission to speak. You were going to. Another, he's Liverpool shirt ready to can.
That was Sam Allardyce, wasn't it?
No, Harry Redknapp when he was a cute.
I was Harry Redknapp. I knew it was one of the chances.
Peter Wingy cans. I could play, I cans, but we're not signing him. He's sitting inside the stadium when he went and he signed on.
He give us, him and Sam Allardyce give us some mint moments on transfer deadline. They did. Absolute geniuses. Brilliant. Great characters. Moving on to the northeast. Sunderland back up, mate, for the first time in, a decade maybe? And we both predicted a win, mate, and they didn't half win. They were playing West Ham, who were both also predicted to struggle this year. Mayenda scores in the 61st minute for Sunderland. Ballard scores again for Sunderland, making it 2-0. And Isidore scores in the 92nd minute, putting Sunderland top of the Barclays. Is it the Barclays Premier League still? Or? Nice. But putting Sunderland at the top of the Premier League for, 3 hours or so. But still, they were there, mate. Like, absolutely fantastic result. I think let's just have a quick look at the attendance. They had 46,234 in attendance, which is great. And just, we did both predict that they would win, but I also said, mate, that they had good strikers, like that Mayenda and Isidore. Fantastic. Honestly, he'll get a big money move at the end of the season because he can score goals for fun. Honestly, I really, really like him.
I didn't watch it live, but I have seen it back since. And a couple of people that I've spoken to, and they hit the nail on the head. This is like what Sunderland's done is to realise. Remember when Leeds came up like a couple of seasons ago, and they were trying to play everyone off the park. This year's right, we're going all out attacking in the games. So they were getting beat, like they were conceding 5 but scoring 3s, and everyone was saying, "Oh, they're brilliant to watch." What Sunderland done really well is the sat back, they soaked it up, and then when they won the ball back, the way they attacked, like the attack was so much speed, and you know what it is, they will kill a lot of teams off by doing that because they get the ball from A to B, and then boom and goal.
I think they'll do well.
That's exactly the way you've got to do it. It's exactly the way you've got to do it because if they can toe-to-toe with teams, then they'll get beat. And that's why the manager, I'm sure Alan Shearer put 3 of their players in the team of the week this weekend.
Shearer did?
I'm sure he did, That's what Callum said on the way back from work today. He says Shearer's team of the week, and he had 3. I think it might have been the manager. I don't know if it was Ballard and one of the forwards.
Isidore.
It was either Isidore or Mayenda. But I mentioned that Mayenda on my show last week, and he scored in the cup final. You didn't know how he's going to do, but he comes into the Premier League, scores game 1. What more can you ask for?
With the Premier League, when they come up or when a new striker comes in, it takes the defenders a while to get another game. So if they're going to score goals, it's going to be in their first season. And then the second season, you'll see them drop off. You know what I mean? Like, Psycho.
It was good to see, though.
It
was good to see, though. Like,
it was. Honestly, I want the moon for them, mate. I really am. I hope they do well. I predicted them to do well. I think there's a lot of poorer teams. I just think with Granit Xhaka and that Lukaku 9 at the back, I know he's not playing at the minute, but like in the dressing room, and Xhaka, they're too good figures to have in there. You know, like Lukaku 9
organised. Keep them organised.
Granit Xhaka's a boyo. You know, like you've got Le Fen on the wing, you've got that Isidore up front, and then the rest of them, Ballard and all that, are just chipping in and thinking, let's give this a go. And that just feels like there's a good camp there. Do you know what I mean? Like, it does.
That's Jake Hall in the chat there. That's not actually a bad point. That he's saying Vardy's a free agent. Like if Newcastle's on the fence, why not just give him a year deal, get him in, put him up front for the time being. If someone isn't in the market, then at least you've got someone. Jamie Vardy will sit. He'll take Champions League football, and he'll play a part-time if he needs to. But he is exactly someone that Newcastle needs to just put in front of the goal at the minute. Exactly what they need. He would have scored that the other day. 1,000,000%.
1,000,000%. Aye. What about Rasmus Højlund?
No, he's too good for the Toon.
That goes in, lads. I know you don't want to get back Isaac, but we're doing exactly the same, and Gordon done the same at Everton. It is. Like it swings and runabouts. It's happening all the time, mate. Player power. Collier, when he come back to Man United, Melvin, he's persistent tonight. Well, Melvin, lad, when he comes back to Man United, he'll be mint. They expect him to be mint, playing straight away. And at his age, like Ahmad, went to Sunderland and came back to Man United and played mint. Makes a fair point, doesn't he?
It does.
Send them on loan. If they're not going to get game time, get them into the Championship or wherever they go, and they'll be playing every week. It'll be really hard football. It's a good league. Come back. See what you've got. If you've got it, we'll mould you in. If not, get back out on loan. We'll try again. You come back, they haven't got it. That's when they'll get sold in it. It's as simple as that. Right. Gutted Rasmus is going. Psycho says, mate, I agree with you. I said it last week. 100%. He should have stayed. We knew that we've got a striker, and they could have just played off each other. He could have been sitting in the stands watching him watching him. They both want to come on and then impress. I just think it's stupid selling them for what you're going to get from him. You're maybe probably even going to get a loan. He'll not be on like massive money. Just keep him. Give him that one more chance. Moving on, Gary. Tottenham against Burnley. Tottenham 3, Burnley 0. A nice, easy day for Tottenham, really. Richarlison scoring in the 10th minute, then scoring an absolute worldie in the 60th minute. And then Brennan Johnson making it 3-0 to Tottenham, wrapping it up for the day. A good win, a good start for Thomas Frank, and an expected start for Burnley. Is that fair enough to say?
I I didn't expect Burnley to get out there, to be fair. It was always going to be tough. But the raving about Spurs, the saying about like how like even just the coaching, like they're playing like totally different. Thomas Frank, that's what he is. He is a good coach. And Spurs, they could be one to watch this season, I think.
I don't know, Gary. I think we might be like being a bit premature there.
I think if you add Ezzy into that team as well, yeah, it's not a bad team. Like, I mean, Romero was talking about leaving. Now he's been given the captain's armband. He signed a new deal. They're obviously expecting like big things. He must be going to spare money.
I'm just gonna check this because Billy's just commenting there. Just want to see if it's. Let's have a look. Yes. So what I'll do is I'll quickly share this because it's worth sharing. So this has just been released in the last half an hour or so. Exclusive news here on Talking Turf. Right, let's read through it. Breaking: Alexander Isak released a statement. When promises are broken and trust is lost, the relationship can't continue. I'm proud to be recognised by my fellow professionals with a place in the PFA Premier League team of the season for 24-25. First and foremost, I want to thank my teammates and everyone at Newcastle United who has supported me along the way. I'm not at the ceremony tonight with everything going on. It didn't feel right to be there. I've kept quiet for a long time while others have spoken. That silence allowed people to push their own version of events, even though they know it doesn't reflect what was really said and agreed behind closed doors. The reality is that promises were made and the club has known my position for a long time. To now act as if these rules are only emerging is misleading. When promises are broken and trust is lost, the relationship can't continue. That's where things are for me right now. And why change is in the best interests of everyone, not just myself.
Is that not what I've said for the last 2 weeks, Melly? That his agent had said that he had been promised to move. He told them last season that that's what he wanted to do. The club agreed. They've went back on the word, and he's turned around and he says, you've had the whole of the last 6 months to have a signing in place to replace us. You've got the full pick of the market because no one knows it's happened. He's kept quiet about it. And they haven't. So
he has been professional then, hasn't he?
Of course he has.
Professional.
And he's won them a trophy. And you know exactly what I said the other day. I said the other day is, everyone went, why is he threw his toes at the pram when Liverpool signed Ekitike? He threw his toes at the pram because he was promised that move to Liverpool. They've signed a striker and he's went, for fuck's sake, why he has not allowed me to go into that club? And Liverpool's went, well, we're trying to sign you, but they're not going to allow you to leave. You told us that you had an agreement with Newcastle that you would be allowed to leave. They wouldn't have shook his toes at the pram because he's been told all season, all year, that he was allowed to go.
I'll tell you what it is. You know, the Toon fans, they get on to the PSR all the time. PSR, right? But now they've got to question who is running this club.
The club. Exactly. They've got
who's running it. Who has allowed Callum Wilson to leave first and foremost? Now I'm finding well this situation is going to arise. Who?
I'll be interested to see what Newcastle fans think about this.
Aye, but Billy,
because they've all been saying
the ex-director wants a shoe-in, but mate, he only left like a couple of weeks ago. You still could have like extended his contract for another year. I can't understand. Jake will come to Man United in a minute, mate. But this news here about Isak because
he's taken all the flack, isn't he? He's taken all the flack off the fans when all along the clubs agreed to let him leave. So it's no wonder that he's come and spoke. He feels betrayed, doesn't he? I wonder what the fans feel about that. If there has been an agreement there, and they're burning these shirts, they're calling them names left, right, and centre.
I'm gonna send me mate this link for here. I'm gonna see if he'll come on. I'm really hoping he will. Where
Who's Steve?
Boom.
Who's sending it? Those Steve Riff.
Aye.
Get Dave Armstrong, and I want to see what he wants to say. He's been slating him.
Right, we'll move on. Man City 4, Wolves 0. Did you expect that, Gary?
Yep, I think I said 5. That was the only surprise that it wasn't more. Aye, that didn't come as any surprise to me. I mean, I think we're both tipped Wolves to get the drop of the season, like so. I expected at least that, to be fair. But City looked really good, scored some good goals. Could have been more. That Reinders, he looks a really good player. Haaland's off the mark with 2 straight away. Good win for them, but was expected.
It was expected. I'm just literally getting it back up here now because I'm trying to get Steve to come on. Whether he does or not, we'll see. Hopefully he does. Haaland scoring early on. The new signing. How do you pronounce it?
Reinders.
He had a good game. He assisted and then scored. And he scored and then assisted. Haaland for his second, and then Cherky getting the fourth. Totally expected. City down at the top of the league. 3 hours later, Sunderland have pushed down to second. Still very good though. Let's move on to Sunday. Started off down at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea 0, Crystal Palace 0. Not really a lot to talk about. Although Eze's goal was disallowed, Gary. What did you make of that? Did you see it?
Oh man, obviously we were on our way to the game, and I was watching on the train. I was in the Premier and I was watching it. Wow, like where he's literally stands, rolls the defender to push him out the way, which I think is deed clever. It's he hasn't done anything wrong there. Like defend the corner, you see all this pushing and pulling on and stuff like that. It's no different at all. He rolls him, and then Vars ruled the goal. It's crazy. That is never ever enough to disallow a goal ever.
No,
I think it's shocking.
I do. I mean, Chelsea did have a lot of possession, but you expect that at home. They've got players that can keep the ball, and I think Crystal Palace will do a lot of that. They'll break on the counter, and that's where they'll get their goals. Because when they break, their attacks mint. And like I said to you last week, if they can keep Mateta and Eze, fantastic, brilliant, happy days. But if they didn't, I think that's enough to push them.
They've got a good core of the team, but it looks like it's about to be ripped apart, doesn't it? Because again, it's like Guehi, Wharton, Mateta, and obviously Eze.
Yeah.
If it'll only take maybe one of them to leave, and then the rest starts going, well, hold on, who's coming in to fill his space? Because if that's not getting filled by someone, then I don't really want to be here.
Fighting relegation.
No, definitely not.
Nah. Let's flick through some of the messages quickly. Malcolm Ramsey there, Eddie Howe and his nephew. Oh, 2 seconds. 2 seconds. We've got a special guest coming on here. Steve Rave.
Hello, mate. How are you?
How are you doing?
Hello, Steve.
First and foremost, thanks very much for coming on. It's such short notice, mate. We'll not keep you long. I just want to get your opinion on this because have you seen the news? Obviously, you would have.
Yeah, I've read his statement, mate. Yeah.
What do you make of it, Steve?
For me, I've said this is obviously some situation that's developed over the course of the last 12 months. It's not something that just happened over the last couple of months with the transfer window opening. And I think that now confirms it. And I think this is probably the biggest test for Yasser Al-Rumayyan, our chairman now, to see how he responds. The silence from PIF has been very, very interesting, Melly, to say the least. And he's got to respond to this. He really does have to respond to this. It's an interesting scenario. It's an interesting situation. It's an interesting time to respond to it when, he's been selected for the Premier League team of last season. But for me, the problems that have developed, clearly, there's 2 sides to the story. And we don't know the truth yet. Nobody knows the truth. He's claiming now that promises were made and promises maybe have been broken. Newcastle have been very reluctant to comment on it, which is fair enough. We know that the agents, for want of a better word, maybe not as prominent and is, I don't want to get your channel into trouble, but he's not the most, he's not the best agent, shall we say. He's not one of the best agents in football to have as your representative. So maybe he's played his part in all of this. But I still think that there's a lot more to go on with this. There's a lot more to run. He may well want to leave. You know what our fans think. You heard our fans singing quite clearly at the end of the game what they felt about the Alexander Isak situation. But what happens next? Oh, it's still a flip of a coin. Are Liverpool likely to come back in with a bid and give Newcastle closer to 130 to 140 million pound? I'm not sure. Is there another team waiting in the wings, to see how this develops and maybe come in when we know that there's only a handful of teams that could actually afford to spend that kind of money on a forward, and most of them aren't in the Premier League. It's fascinating. It really is. For me, it's concerning because obviously, the longer this goes on, we are without a recognised centre forward. We've let Callum Wilson go. Isak could go, and it leaves us, with three great attacking players, but none of them who are capable of getting 20 goals a season. So it's a fine balance at the minute. I think Eddie Howe's doing a great job. He reminds me of Kofi Annan. He really does, because he just completely plays with a straight bat, and he gets his message across in a very eloquent and sensible way. But it's I'm glad that Isak's come out and said something. I don't think it'll endear him to the fans, and I just think I think it's probably now pushed it over the edge for most Newcastle fans. I would say most people will say, right, okay, those who were maybe, well, we could integrate him, we could bring him back in. I think he's made it quite clear he doesn't want that. So I think, we just have to see what happens now. But interesting times, plenty time for him to go and get a deal that he wants, plenty time for Newcastle to bring players in that they want. We'll just have to wait and see what happens. But I'm sure that Newcastle are working away behind the scenes to bring in the recognised forwards that they're going to need to replace him. But I think that's it. I think he's gone now. And I was teetering on the brink of saying he might have to get reintegrated, but I think he's gone, Melly. I think that makes it quite clear what he wants. The club can't hold on to him now because he's made it quite clear in the public domain that he wants to leave the club.
And judging by the statement, like it's been pre-agreed with people, Steve. It's not something that's just coming out now. So the guy has come this, he's done well for you, scored a lot of goals, got your cracking finish the season before last season. You've getting into the Champions League. Mm-hmm. Yes, he didn't win you the Carabao Cup on his own. One man doesn't make a team, but he did help. So he's upended his end of the bargain, and then it's come to the point where Newcastle seem to have to do their end, and they're backtracking. So people are saying he's chucking his toys out the pram. And Gary's just said there, mate, that of course he is, because he's been promised one thing, and they haven't given him it.
Yeah.
Liverpool's
I think this is where the problem lies.
So he's probably sitting there going, "What he's doing?" Like,
it's where the problem lies. Is, of course, that we in this summer we found ourselves in the position once again without a chief executive and without a sporting director. The chief executive, of course, Darren Eales was ill and still is ill, and obviously wish him well. But to be without a sporting director again is probably where the problem lies, and something we may never know. The news around Mitchell, will never know exactly what happened, but that definitely hasn't helped our preparations for this summer, mate. And has Amanda Staveley and Mirdad Gadusi promised him something? Has Dan Ashworth promised him something? Has Mitchell promised him something? It'll all come out in the wash, of course, but from our perspective, he's clearly been promised something and it hasn't been delivered, and that's why he's upset. However, there's ways and means of doing things. We've seen it with Eze, for example, at Crystal Palace, linked with a move to Spurs, heavily linked with a move to Spurs. Looks likely that's where he'll be by the time September the 1st comes around. Yet he's done things the right way. He's continued to play for his team. He's continued to training, and he's continued to give his best for Crystal Palace. We've now got a situation with a player that we've wanted, Wissa. Bizarre scenario for us. Where Newcastle fans are complaining about the way Isak's going on and the way he's conducting himself. Yet we seem to be going all out to buy a player who's doing exactly the same at Brentford, which is crazy. But listen, this isn't the first time it's happened. Paul Scholes did it at Manchester United. Let's not forget. Probably, I know he's gone on record as saying it was the most embarrassing thing in his career. He wished he'd never done it. Carlos Tevez did it in the past
Really?
as well. Pierre Van Hooijdonk did it. I'm picking names out of the air here, but they're not the first and not be the last player to go on strike. Isaac clearly down tools, and that I think that's the other interesting thing that's come out of this, because he's clearly the one who said, "I'm not going to play, and I'm not doing this, and I'm not doing that," and he went off and trained on his own. So we just need to get this resolved now. Yasser Al Rumayyan needs to come out. The club need to come out in some way, shape, or form. Not Eddie Howe at the bloody press conference on Friday. It needs to be one of the owners needs to come out and say, "This is what we're saying. This is what we're doing. And this is it." But we don't know what PIF are going to do, because in the 3.5, 4 years PIF have been in control of our football club, they say very little. They don't say a great deal. They don't get drawn into this. But I tell you what, they won't be very happy with this. And I think, and again, this is my opinion. It's not your channel's opinion. And again, it's based on knowing what these big companies are like. But I think this problem lies a lot deeper than football. I think this goes back to PIF and Fenway Sports having a huge disagreement over the Live Golf. I think that's where this all stems from. I don't think PIF and Fenway get on at all. And I think Fenway maybe, and again, this is hypothetical. This is just an allegation, if you like. Maybe this has happened. Maybe it hasn't happened. But I think there's been something going on in the background, and I think this is a power play by Fenway, to basically unsettle Newcastle.
Is that the agent, Steve?
I know Fenway basically own Liverpool football.
Liverpool.
Yeah,
it's
they
the two
own
owners.
they own Liverpool.
Right,
They own
right,
Liverpool
right,
Football
sorry.
Club. But I think what's happening here is I think this is a huge power play, a power struggle between two huge forces. And I wouldn't be surprised if Isaac really, in the grand scheme of things, is just a little pawn in the game. And I think this is Fenway's way of just saying, we'll unsettle your player. That means that Liverpool might not come back in. And that's going to create a hell of a problem, that if in due course, Liverpool then don't come back in with another bid, what happens then? Newcastle are going to be stuck with a player who doesn't want to play at Newcastle United, who is still getting paid. It could be like the Jack Rodwell situation at Sunderland, where he just sits for 2 years. It's not going to do his career any good. But the one thing we've got in our favour is he needs to be playing football for the World Cup coming up.
The World Cup.
So he needs to be playing. So I would expect him to leave. I would expect Liverpool maybe to come in with a slightly better offer. But if not, he might have to go off. He might have to go to PSG or somewhere like that on loan or on a permanent deal. He might have to go on loan to PSG and then go to Liverpool from there. Who knows? But I think it's got to be resolved now. I think it's all of this summer has been spoilt for Newcastle fans in a lot of ways. We should have been celebrating the fact we got into the Champions League and we won the Carabao Cup, but the whole summer's been spoilt by this. And I'm just hoping. My big hope is that we get forwards in. We need 2 forwards in, because we played well against Villa. Villa weren't the greatest of teams. They look as if they're on a downward spiral, that they're gutted that they didn't get into the Champions League. And now they've had to sell players. You can see that they've got a hangover from last season. Watkins didn't, we defended well. We defended from the front. We defended really well. Watkins didn't really get a sniff, but I wouldn't be surprised to see Watkins wearing a black and white shirt before the end of the transfer window. I think he's still got to go. I think he still goes from Villa, and I think he could come to Newcastle. And I think the fact we've managed to get Ramsey in, he'll that's a plus point. He's not coming into a dressing room where he doesn't know anybody, and he is looking for a new challenge. I'd prefer to get Ramsey in. I'd still like to get Wisser as well, mind. I think that would be great. But it's interesting. It's been a fascinating window. And it'll still be a good season. Bearing in mind our seasons were always relegation battles or dropping into the Championship or struggling to stay up. It's never been great. And I'll always be enthusiastic because we've got a great season to look forward to. Newcastle will be they'll be there or thereabouts. I still think they will be. They need luck with injuries and suspensions, and they need 2 forwards in. But I genuinely think Melly will still have a good season no matter what. And it's
Steve.
Yeah,
Steve, are you surprised though? Like, obviously people will say that there's no loyalty in football, right?
Yep.
So are you surprised that if this agreement has been in place, that Newcastle as a club hasn't had something for when the transfer window opens at the beginning of the season?
You see, the problem we've got is like, and again, I've gone quite a while on here without mentioning PSR lads, but that's always going to be a problem. Me and Melly talk on a regular basis. We often, we'll swap messages and we'll have a laugh at each other and stuff. But we both know our stuff, like you do, Gary. We'll go home and away, and that's it. We're being there, done it, got the t-shirt with our respective clubs. But Newcastle really are still in this PSR mess, and I thought we'd spend a lot of money this summer. I thought we'd spend a lot, and we have. When you look at what we've spent, we've brought in. We needed a goalkeeper. We've brought a goalkeeper in. We've needed a centre half. We've managed to bring somebody in. We've brought a right winger in, which is what we needed. We'll let a midfielder go. We've brought one in. It's an improvement. We just need the forwards, and I think it's been a good window, and we'll still have money to spend in January. In fact,
That's what I mean. But on that, so say if you had let Isaac go, you can bring, then you can with PSR, you can bring Watkins, you can bring Wissa easy. Them deals is done in the first week of the transfer window, aren't they?
Yeah, I think the problem is though that Newcastle's situation with Isak has been brewing. It looked very much to me as if it was brewing last season anyway. I think most of us felt that his body language wasn't right at the start of the season. Didn't get off to a great start, and then his body language wasn't great at the end of the season. We've seen lots of there's been WhatsApp messages. I'm sure you've seen them flying around. Quoted from, like, one player said this and one player said that, and Isak was, some people are alleging that Isak wasn't keen on getting into the Champions League. It would have made his departure easier. If all of that,
Easier.
all of that would make sense,
Yep, it would.
But look, if we sell Isak now, we've still had a good window. As long as we can bring in at least one forward, we need two. But then we've got money to spend, massive amounts of money to spend in January if it's gone wrong. So listen, I think I said on your last season, lads, we've got to wake up and smell the coffee sometimes. We're going to have to sell a Bruno. We're going to have to sell a Tonali or an Isak at some point. Well, now's the time to do it. And the amortization we'll get on Isak will be phenomenal. So we still won't be able to compete with the likes of yourselves and with the likes of Liverpool and the likes of Arsenal and Chelsea, because we're still miles behind on PSR. But you know what? It'll put us ahead of that chasing group like Aston Villa, Brighton,
absolutely,
massively, because we'll have money to spend in January. So I'm looking at the positives of selling Isak, but we've got to replace him. We've got to have forwards in, and we've got to have them in now. It's no good going into the Champions League with this team as it is at the minute. Defensively, it'll be great, but we're just, Anthony Gordon's not a forward. He never will be. And despite him coming out on TV saying I'm looking forward to it, and I see myself playing in that role, that's just PR. To keep the fans happy. He's never going to be able to do that. He's not an out-and-out goal scorer, and he's better as a winger. So for me, we need to act quickly. We need, Isak's made his point now. He can't play for the club again. Get him out the club, get as much as we can for him, and then get the replacements in, and it's as simple as that, And I wish him all the best. I know it'll be white hot whenever he plays against us, and he'll get the lickings of a dog and get a load of stick, and it's what happens. But it's so like the Andy Cole story. It's so like the Andy Cole story. When Andy Cole went to Man United, you couldn't begrudge him. He come to Newcastle, he done well, but it just feels very similar to that, because Newcastle give Cole and Isak the opportunity to better themselves, and then they've gone. And I think what hurts more, it hurts more because we are a lot better than we were in the 90s. And we've actually won a trophy, and I think that's probably why it hurts. But it was always going to hurt losing the first big name and a hero and somebody who people have got in the back of their shirts. But you know what? Doesn't want to be here. Let him go and let's move on. It's as simple as that, lads.
Let him go.
Steve, thank you very much, mate. We're gonna hit the advert.
Take care, lads.
Absolutely fantastic as always. There, I don't know if you can see that, Steve, but already look, you've got the box owners here. Isaac, who me and Isaac, who they've got, and then they want to bring in Wissa, who's gonna do exactly the same. He'll have a good couple of years, mate, and then he potentially could be away doing the same thing because he's
nobody
now.
stays. And I tell you what, your ex-manager, who I didn't like, of course, I wouldn't like him, old Fergie, he knew what to do when somebody was like this. What did he do? He got rid of
rid of
Beckham,
them.
he got rid of Ronaldo, he got rid of the lot. He just gets rid of them and he replaces them with better. And that's what you do. And
Isn't
that's,
anyone
that's
bigger than the club?
nobody is bigger than the club. And
They're
that's it.
not.
It's as simple as
Steve,
that.
do you want to
So
get on record now? We'll have a quick bet. We'll have dinner and a coffee. We'll finish higher than you.
I still think we'll finish higher than you, mate.
And
I
I'll
do.
go on the other
But
way.
I genuinely do, and my mind still hasn't changed. And I mean, listen, Arsenal's a tough game for you. Aston Villa's a tough game for us going in at the first game of the season. You were at home, we were away. You got beat, we got a point. But I still think, Champions League might cause us an issue. I still think you've got the wrong manager. I don't think Amarim, and I told you this. I told you this from day one, mate, with Amarim, and I seen him last season. He was going to chuck it last season. He was miserable. He was wanting to get sacked. And I just look at him now, and I just think his attitude. I still think you've got too many big people in that dressing room who just don't want to do the job for him. You know.
I will see. I was a lot
We'll
better on
see.
Sunday.
I was right about Ratcliffe. I told you Ratcliffe was a patsy for the Glazers.
Not man.
There's no wrong with him.
He's
Give
a patsy
on.
for the Glazers. He's a patsy.
Give on.
Right, I must hit the adverts. I need the toilet. Thank you, Steve Rafe. As always.
care.
Cheers,
NUFC
Steve.
matters. Take
Shut up,
care.
Jeff.
Cheers. We'll hit the break. See you in 2 minutes and 42 seconds. If you'd like to advertise with us like these following businesses have done, then get in touch with Melly or Gary. It's only $5 a show, and we're hitting on average, I would say, between 10 and 20,000 people per month. Support us, and we'll help support you. Melly's Carpets and Bed, 63 Station Road in Ashington. Free measures are available daily. You can call 01670 632216 or find us on Facebook. Melly's Carpets and Beds. Laying our reputation, one recommendation at a time. BA Commercials and Northeast Metals Limited, where you can get almost any used car part. The best prices is paid here for scrap vehicles and metals. They have containers to rent short and long term from just £30 per week, as well as plant hire and also commercial buildings for rent. Call during working hours on 07825 405 772. GB Glazing and Joinery Limited, based in Ashington, Northumberland, but covering the whole of the Northeast. CERTAS approved, who specialise in windows, doors, warm roofs, kitchen, conversions, and conservatories. Call Gary during working hours on 07825 160 777. A1 Fire Stopping and Drilling Services, who specialise in installation and maintenance of passive fire protection, fire stopping, and thermal installation systems. You can email your query to Martin. That's at martin.gallen@a1firestop.co.uk, or call during working hours on 07751 429 045. A1 Fire Stopping Services. Ashington Properties, whose company mission is to create high-quality homes for the local community and Northumberland, and whose company values are transparency, trust, and loyalty. You can email them at ashingtonproperties@gmail.com or call during working hours on 07985 203 094. And last but not least, most cuts. You can call Lewis on 07519 07787. You can find him on Facebook, and you can also book through the Booksy app. You'll find them down in Newbiggin on Front Street, straight opposite Chisholm Bookmakers. Always look fresh when you get cut off Moz. Yes! How we doing? Right, so that was a good crack to have Steve Rafe on there, giving his insight into Isaac's departure. It looks absolutely nailed on now. I will flick through a few of the comments that were coming in before that, just quickly before we move on to the rest of the games and give our predictions for this weekend's fixtures. J. Cole saying it was a 1 meter rule away from the Wall lads for that Crystal Palace Eze goal. Must be for the ones who are taking the free kick. Adam Waters, some player, got 100% of agree with you there. I was hoping if it didn't go on for Belieber that we would get Wharton. You were thinking the same, weren't you, Gary?
Aye, quality player.
Good player. Melvin's back in. When am I getting on Talking Turf? I've got loads to say. Well, you know, son. no chance Liverpool are going back in for him. What happens to Ekitike? 80 million player on the bench. I don't think so. And teams will not play with 4-4-2 new, will they? They'll not play with two strikers, Gary.
No.
Anyone else? He made his decision in January. Says Martin Gallen been missing since then. Melly, you're going to lose the bet, and Moran will be away before the end of the season. Did these watch the match on Sunday with our eyes shut?
Oh, we haven't tackled it, man. You'll give it away.
Nah. Let's crack on here. Let's crack on. I will get Melvin on, but not this week because he's messed about with my computer, and that's why we're half an hour late. So he got rang, but he'll come on next week. Nottingham Forest 3, Brentford 1. Excellent day for Forest. People thought that they might struggle. Chris Wood, another signing that Newcastle got rid of, is continuing again to score goals. Scored in the 5th minute and Doyle in the 42nd. And then just before the half-time whistle, Chris Wood gets the third. Game awards done. But Thiago gets a penalty in the 78th minute for Brentford, finishing 3-1 at Forest. A good win for Forest, mate.
Absolutely, I meant Chris Wood. He's just one of them players, isn't he? You put the ball in the box and he just keeps scoring. Absolute man. I think we both said, didn't we? He can't lead again, can he? But then he does. He just keeps the net never changes, does it? The size of the net. Just keep putting the ball in, like mint.
Well, he scored for fun, man. He's a striker. He's a proper old school striker. He will score for fun. I must admit, I was amongst them who thought that I didn't think he'd have as good a season. Maybe he had a one-off, but he's proved wrong. He scored 2 goals in the opening game of the season. Right, down to Old Trafford, and it's where's he commenting on? He's on his computer upstairs, I think. Gallen's gonna burn your hat, Melvin. You left it at Jesus today. He'll not, son. Man United 0, Arsenal 1. The score doesn't reflect the game, does it?
Not for me, it doesn't. I've never been.
Not for any.
For the last 3 seasons, the last 3 seasons, right. Obviously, we've had ups, downs, more downs than ups. Even when we won the Carabao Cup, the FA Cup, we're getting to cup finals and stuff like that. We've won trophies, but the performance hasn't been that great, and we've sort of dragged our way through games and won. It was totally different on Sunday. I've never seen we play that well. I said on the bus on the way back, I think that's probably one of the best I've seen we play, especially against a team that's tipped to win the league by a lot of the pundits, and we absolutely dominated them. From it wasn't just in spells; it was from start to finish. They literally, even Arteta said, he says that was he thought that was one of the best away wins because the fashion and the atmosphere that it was at the ground, and it was a breath of fresh air. I enjoyed it. I didn't mind getting beat when you're playing that well. It's when you get beat and you don't feel like the players have tried. But I didn't think you'd come off that pitch and see that every single player got clapped, and that doesn't happen at Old Trafford when you get beat. It just doesn't.
Yeah. Gary, you know what, mate? I agree with you. Normally, I'm absolutely peeved. I was peeved because in the first couple of minutes, we went forward and they got a goal kick. And from that minute, the second minute, Ria was walking really slowly towards the ball. The ball boy took them the ball. He let it go past them. And I thought, surely, not after 2 minutes, he's coming to totally slow the game down. And
they came for a draw, Molly. They came for a draw. They were willing to take a point.
They got that goal. Look, I was saying it was a foul. Probably is a foul, especially because the Clampman doing this year on activity around the goalkeeper. They highlighted it. Activity around the goalkeeper. The clamping down on it, right? So it is a foul. It's a foul on Mount and it's a foul on the keeper. But he has to be stronger because 20 minutes later, Gary, exactly the same scenario happens with Ria and he punches it out.
Right.
And that's what he has to do. He had a Jeremy Beadle hand. It was you know what I mean? It was put it on a plate for them. It's need good. We need a goalkeeper. It's an honour the man. No, he isn't. He isn't the man. And like what Melvin said earlier on, he's 8-year-old. You've got Tom Heaton sitting there, who I personally think as well
He's my best
better than
goalkeeper.
both of them.
He
He does all the basics right. You know, he can kick the ball. And if you're not going to bring a keeper in, then Tom Heaton is better than them two. And I'm not bothered what anybody says. Tom Heaton is a better goalkeeper than them two. In my
apparently
opinion.
it's come up today. Apparently he's told him now that he should get a moves because he's going to be the same as Rasmus Højlund. He's going to be limited to minutes. That's what he's been told again today. But there's a few comments coming in here, and I say, like, obviously Gallon's saying that he thinks like we definitely deserved at least a point. Played very well. It's not like him to say that. And another one, and you didn't want to look for excuses all the time because we had chances to score goals and take it out of the referee's hands. But the more I look at that Cunha one, if Saliba didn't get into grunt, I get the comments saying like that down earlier. I get his comments saying like it's not a pen. But Saliba makes a challenge. He gets to grunt. He doesn't get the ball. He gets through the back of the player. Whether the player's turning onto him, it's irrelevant. You kind of get through the back of the player to get the ball.
No.
It's a penalty. It's a penalty.
It's a penalty if it's in the other box.
It's a penalty.
And I'm not just saying it, but they've got an agenda against Man United. They have, and because we see it, we look like we're crying for. But they have. If you look at how many decisions went against us last year, it's because we got those decisions years ago when we had Howard Webb, etc., and Fergie time and stuff. Nowadays, it's flipped completely on its head. All the referees went, no, they're getting out of us. Not a thing. Simple as that.
Who's that? Billy Noble.
I mean, for instance, right, like the Garnacho goal that was offside, that they put offside at Arsenal, he goes through and scores. We're winning 1-0. We've won the game. They call it offside. We end up losing that game.
I know. $1,000,000%.
You know what I mean? I think
there's plenty of people here saying it was a penalty. It's a penalty.
I'm going to flick through them now. J. Cole, I agree, Gary, last 3 or 4 seasons, never been off my seat watching Cunha. Pace, power, strength. Looks a proper Man United player at last. 100%, mate. Honestly, Cunha was quiet in the first half, I thought. I think they've gotten in the dressing room and they've said, look, we've got to bring him into play. We've got to give him the ball. And that's what they did the second half. They give him the ball, and he was fantastic. The first half, I thought Mbembo had some excellent touches. I thought Mason Mount was absolutely fantastic. I thought De Ligt was brilliant. Never give Gyökeres 2 seconds, literally on him every single time.
Now what it is, I just want to touch on that because obviously when you're watching the game live, and De Ligt and Gyökeres, I mean, it was 6 and 2 threes, but I thought the ref done meant for that because you know what it is, them two had a tussle for the full 60 minutes he was on the pitch. And they were grabbing each other, they were pulling their shirts, and he just let it go because it was 6 and 2, and it was meant to watch. Like, but De Ligt played absolutely class. That is the player that we bought from Bayern Munich. That one there. Aye.
I'm just going to touch back on this. What Jake said again. Never been off my seat, and it's true. We're literally up, Toon. Every time they were getting the ball, it was like, and you know what it is? It's just refreshing us out to watch that at Old Trafford. It was. And I've never been so content with a loss. And that's exactly what Liam Harper's saying here. First time I've come home from a game thinking we deserve more. 100% in a long time. Martin Gallen with his normal never a foul give out. Of course it was. You know it was. It was a foul, says Jake Hall. 100%. Billy Noble, Warshare says that you've spent 200 million on forwards and still can't score. And now, but Sesko only came on for 20 minutes. He's had about 60 minutes of game time in the whole.
He done well. He done well when he came on.
And he was involved.
He was involved. He done quite a bit of link up.
Judge him after Sunday against Fulham because I think you'll get a half, maybe a little bit longer, maybe. I don't know. We'll see.
I tell you what, I'm happy with how Cunha and Mbembo linked up. Like
definitely,
that's gonna be a good partnership. Then
keep Mount fit, and he's like a new signing. And I've got to say this, and I know that I'm sure Liam loves him. Liam Harper, Bruno. I honestly think his day is numbered.
I had this argument with him last year, and I says Mason Mount would replace him, and he was like, "Nah." I was like, "He will." You
know what it is.
Can you remember when we were waiting for I had this conversation?
How you give the ball away for the goal, right? Let's look at what he did in the opening game of the Premier League season, right? At home, all these new players, he didn't step up. He didn't step up. And now, he's good, but he didn't step up. And he gave the ball away for the goal. He had 2 set pieces, dead balls, one right on the edge of the box. Perfect position for Mbembo, by the way, right? He hit the first man. He had one 50 yards out. He hit the man in front of him 50 yards out. The first man. He's not going to get away with that. You've got good quality players in that team there, who can deliver from a dead ball situation.
And you know what else? You know when they turned the ball over, he was the one that lost it then. And now when Saka went through and should have scored, that was Bruno dilly-dally. He was dilly-dallying on the ball in the middle of the park. There was no one within 20 yards of him. He's pissing around with it. Instead of just passing and getting forward.
You'll not get away with that, like, not with these lot. Nah. Definitely not. It's got to be.
You know what? Now what they should have done? They should have,
and then that's it.
I wouldn't have took Casemiro off. I think he was playing better than him. Or what I would have done is took Bruno off. That's when you're making a statement. You take Bruno off. You drop Mount into there. That's what you do. Or you bring Manu on.
We said that at half time, didn't we? We said that's what can make or break a manager when you make statements like that.
Big decisions.
Hey, look, you weren't playing the best. Mount's playing better.
And then he whacks off the pitch and then he goes, right, I want to go to Saudi. And we're going, right, thank you very much, 150 million. Go and get Believer. Go and get Wharton. Go and get a goalkeeper. Bye.
Yeah.
See you.
You could take Matt Sales from Forest, Gary. I would.
1,000,000%.
Yeah. It was a pain all day.
It was like...
Actually, I'm not putting that on, Melvin. You need to chill a little bit. We did play well, says George Legg, but it's not going to last. I would love to think we are going to do something this season, but I can't say it. I totally agree about Heaton. He should be our keeper until we get it sorted. George, man, where? He not been watching the last few seasons of the absolute dross that we've had to endure. That was absolutely fantastic. If they come back to normality against Fulham, a lesser team on Sunday, then you might have a point. You might. But you've got to give them time. There's new signings there. They're all bedding in. You've got to give it a little while. I think we're going to Fulham and win. I think we're going to Grimsby and we'll win. And then we'll come back to Old Trafford and we'll beat Burnley. That's 6 points out of the opening 3 games. We're into the 3rd round of the Cup. We'll have the international break. We'll come back. They'll be fitter. They'll be stronger. We'll play a City. Boom. And then that's the big game.
You've got to give them to get the team up to speed, and you've got to give them at least till the end of October. If by the end of October there's no improvement, you didn't think we're getting better, and it's not consistent, then you start questioning. Until then, you didn't.
Yeah.
In my opinion, you've got to give them at least till then.
I'll just flick through the messages quickly, Gary. One for the road. Says Lee Fairgrave.
Yes,
the keeper Ria had more than 8 seconds twice, says Melvin. We needed 2 extra corners. That didn't really get implemented, did it? Like, I don't think that they'll do that very much. Mason Mount on the left, Melvin is saying, using his strength was class. He was, son. He was very good. You do look more of a threat, says Billy Noble. Thank you, Billy. Finally,
there's a compliment in there.
There is. What you think of Shaw? I thought he was quality. He stays fit. I was going to get to Shaw after the link, mate, and say he and Al was absolutely mint. Liam Harper saying, get me on. Should we get Liam Harper on quickly?
Hi.
5 minutes, Liam. Is that all right? Where are we? Send him this. Liam Harper. Tell you what we'll do. We'll finish off with there's loads of comments in here. Bruno was the saviour last season. 1 bad game this season on his back. Deluded as fuck. No, not on his back, mate. We're just saying he's not going to get away with it this season. He needs,
it doesn't work in that system. There's a difference by saying, square pegs, run towards square pegs. There's a difference. If he's one of the best number 10s in the world, we didn't play with a number 10.
No. Shaw's come back like a caged animal, lads. Yes, he has, Ferry. Keep him fit, keep Mount fit, and 2 new signings.
I like the way he managed his minutes, so he took him off after 60 minutes. He's not trying to push him to the end. He's just managed them well, and he should. It
pains me to say it. I love him, says Jake, but I would have took the 100 million. 100 million%.
1,000,000%.
Yes. Dallo was shit. Same with Bruno, says Melvin. Gallen is a secret Man U fan, says Melvin. No wonder that no one goes on the bus with you. I'm ready to smash one now after 15 minutes. Go and get Donnarumma, says Billy Noble. and it'll move you up 4 or 5 places in the league. If it moves us up 4 or 5 places in the league, we're winning the Barclays Premier League, Billy. Let's welcome Doncaster's number 1. It's Liam Harper. How are we doing, Liam?
How are we, lads? All right.
Good. I
You're
knew you
right,
were going to be on as soon as we mentioned Bruno.
Oh, mate.
Huh? What do you reckon?
First game of season, innit? You know, it's not up to speed. It's what it is, but probably first time in God knows how long he's not had to dictate everything.
Which
Probably.
I thought would have helped him, mate. I thought if he had that free rein and he wasn't playing left back, right back, centre half, centre forward, and he was just able to do what he wanted, he would have had a much better game. And it just didn't come. But you're right, it's the first game of the season. You've got to give him the benefit of the doubt, but he isn't going to get away with wasting set pieces anymore when you've got the likes of Mbembo and Kuna who can take set pieces, is he?
Nah. No, he ain't. And that's... Change is always good, but after one game, you can't change it, can you?
Nah. What did you make of the game, Liam?
Well, it's the first time I've come home from Old Trafford thinking we deserved more than a loss in God knows how long. I think if we had Sesko on from start, I think we'd have definitely scored, but, you know, can't chuck him in deep end straight away.
The thing is, with Sesko, he didn't have any minutes under his belt, did he? So it was, you kind of just... I personally think he played it right. We were unable to score as
well
per last season.
He'll have had a pre-season at Leipzig.
Huh?
He'll have had a pre-season at Leipzig.
I don't know if he did he, Gary?
He must have done.
He was training. Personally, I would have chucked him in.
He must have had. Yeah.
I think in that system,
you what?
In that system the other day against Arsenal, I think if you're playing Bruno, I would have put Bruno as the 10, with Cunha and Mbeumo either side. If you're playing Bruno in there, otherwise you didn't really play him. I would rather have Mount on the ball in the middle of the park than what I would Bruno. I think Mount's a better player on the ball and he's not as wasteful. Bruno, when he loses the ball, like I
Mount
just
was
think
fantastic, to be honest with you.
he is. He's class. I just think he doesn't lose the ball, Mason Mount. Even in tight spaces, you watch and you think, and he's got this little shift where he moves the ball and you think he's going to lose it, and he never ever does. I rate him so highly, mate.
I'm just looking at Leipzig's pre-season here because honestly, I was pretty sure that he hadn't, and he hadn't played the last 3 or 4 games.
I
just he wasn't playing. I thought he wasn't playing.
Just
I think he had a pre-season, and that's why he was benched. The last 4 or 5 games I've just had a quick look at there in pre-season, he wasn't playing.
Was he not?
Nah.
Yeah, you can't argue with that, then, can you?
No, so you've got to Liam, you seem a bit quiet. You're normally king of the table. What's going on, son?
I know.
Get a beer in here. How are you?
But I'm up in Edinburgh. The lads are asleep in bed, so I've got to be a bit quiet.
No worries. Well, listen, we'll let you go, mate. We're going to crack on. We're going to predict what scores. But you're going to come on next week. What are you doing working up there, like?
Yeah.
You're Fulham, aren't you, on Sunday?
Yeah. We're driving down.
See you there, pal.
See you later, lads.
See you later, Liam. Ta-ra,
mate. He's some boy. Normally he's totally chatty and he's argumentative. Yeah, a good big crack with him, to be fair. So finishing off the Premier League for this week quickly. We've been on an hour and 15. We'll rack what scores off quickly after this.
I think he's just quiet because he knew he knows I'm right about Bruno.
You reckon?
Yeah, that was the argument, wasn't it?
It was. It was now each. Leeds against Everton. Leeds are obviously I thought were the better team. I'm sure you'll agree with that, everybody. And then in Mecca comes on his third touch for Leeds United and he scores the penalty in the 84th minute and they hang on and they get 3 points. Do you think it's a penalty first and foremost?
Personally, I don't think it's a penalty.
No.
He's got his arm literally behind his back. He can't do any more than that. Apparently, did you see his interview when he said he spoke to the ref because it was the linesman that gave that penalty, It wasn't the referee. The linesman's flagged for the penalty. And he says to the referee when it goes to VAR, he turns around and says to the referee, goes, my arm's behind me back and it's by my side. So he's got it sort of like tucked behind him like this. He goes, does that mean it's not a pen? And the ref says, yes, that it won't be given. It'll be overturned. And then obviously it wasn't. So he's obviously absolutely got it. But
how a linesman can give that though?
He's saying he must have good eyes because he's like 40 yards away.
That's the referee's job, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. With the ref's 10 yards.
Referee's running Z's on a pitch, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Z is away from the linesman there and the linesman there. So the linesman's expected to control it here. If there's a foul or something like that. But the Z, the referee is there. The referee is there behind the shot. He is in control of that, not the linesman. Surely that isn't the linesman's job to give that.
No.
It's the referee's job. It's his job to see if the foul's out, or if it's a corner, or if it's a foul over there. If he's caught him and the referee's...
It's right in front of him.
Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Surely that's not his call to give a penalty. I don't know. That needs looked at. Anyway, Leeds get the win. It's going to be hard ground to guarantee Ellen Road this year, I think, for many teams.
Just not Man United.
It's not Man United, no. I tell you what, though, I have to give a special mention for Diego Jota and his brother, who've had an absolutely fantastic... They've had a lot of... obviously, every team's done a minute's silence, but Wolves did a tifo for them, and Liverpool did, and the songs, and it was very good. I just had to mention that. I've been.
I think it's meant what Chelsea done.
A bit of it this weekend, to be fair, because it's absolutely tragic that they lost their life at such an early age, and like if anybody loses their life, but a guy that's just been married, he's got a few young kids there, and he's living, like he's on cloud nine, and then that happens. It's just absolutely devastating. Obviously for him, his brother, his family, so.
It's mad the way it's worked as well, and because normally he would obviously fly, but he's just had a lung operation or something, so that was the reason he couldn't fly. It's mad how life pans out, isn't it?
Aye, I firmly believe
that's the only reason he's driving.
Your numbers up. I think when you were born, you were given a date, but you just haven't got it. Maguire must start.
It's also good what Chelsea players done. Did you see that? Now from the club, they donated 50% of the winning wages that they were given. I think
even Liverpool are going to pay his wages until you see his contract out. Do you know what I mean? That's meant
touch of class. That
it is. Hats off to them. George Lex says the coach will spit his dummy out. I just don't trust them. Ricky Armstrong says Maguire must start. Look, Maguire's a good player, but I think them three that started at the weekend. Well, actually, you could be right. You know what I mean? Like,
you can rotate it. You can rotate it. Ahmad should be starting in front of Dalot.
Billy Noble says I meant from 16. Ahmad in for Dalot on Sunday. Get Sesko on at half time if needed. 100 million%. Yes, definitely. Gallen, he says, mate, I'm surprised I'm still watching this. I'm really interested. This is where I learned football from, to be honest. Melvin. Gary, you're lagging. You're lagging. You need to top your gift gaff up, mate. Defense-wise, you got it right. We've never been as good defensively for a couple of seasons. I don't think it's a penalty, Melvin says. Piss poor game. Everton look shambolic. They don't sort it out. They'll be playing in the championship in the new stadium. Possibly, mate. They're definitely one of them. Definitely. It's VR that give it. What was that? The penalty.
The penalty.
And now, but
the referee's flag
decision to make. If the linesman doesn't put his flag up, they haven't got a decision to make, have they?
He did. The line of flags, and then VR says it's a pen. They should have overruled it, like.
Yeah, I think so. Your magic. Your Amanda. Magic. What have I missed? Says Red Peter. Watching from the pool in Cancun.
Enjoy, mate.
You haven't missed a lot to miss out, mate, to be fair, apart from your team's gonna be absolutely knackered come October, November, and you're gonna be wheel below Sunderland. You're great. Yeah, great what Chelsea did, definitely. Big Jim wouldn't have paid Jota's wages. Yes, he would. Donnarumma is the perfect option. 100. Yes, we agree with you.
He
All right,
is, but
lads,
if
the
he's
late
wanting
night. Yes, we're late.
if he's
We
wanting
got off to a
400
late
grand a
start.
week,
Eh?
then he is. But if he's wanting 400 grand a week, what's the quote? And then no, I didn't want people on 400 grand a week.
Nah.
To stamp us between sticks, just definitely not.
Martin Gallen, think little Melly should have another haircut until Man U win 4 in a row. The ref didn't give it, did he? Nah, he didn't. It was the linesman and then VAR. Shouldn't have a haircut. Says Gallen. Right, lads, get your predictions in for the Premier League. So this should be pretty instant tonight because I turned off the it was like a delay. So this should be pretty good tonight. So get your predictions in for this week. Starting off on Friday night, we have West Ham against Chelsea. How do you see it going, Gary?
Chelsea, I expect more from at the weekend, but I think they'll have too much for West. Will not be to run the bush. I'm going to say 2-1 Chelsea.
2-1 Chelsea. I'm going to go for ones each. It's West Ham's first game at home. I think Chelsea really are favourites because West Ham are poor, but I just think West Ham, when it comes to derbies, they pull something out of the bag. I'm going to go for a draw. 1-1. Martin Gallen reckons it'll be Chelsea 5-0. Amanda Weber's gone for Chelsea 2-1. The Gentle Giant says Chelsea will win 1-0. And Peter Tate has gone the opposite way and he's gone 1-0 to West Ham. Ricky Armstrong thinks it'll be 3-1 to Chelsea. And Jake Hall also thinks 3-1 to Chelsea. So a lot of people are Chelsea, yeah, which is looking likely, to be fair. I'm only going for a draw because of if it being a derby and West Ham's first game at home. Melvin saying he cannot have a haircut because I have a knee hair to cut. He said it all shaved off. Up war Melly, 2-0 to Chelsea, says James Roll. Moving on to Saturday, 12:30 kickoff, a hard game for City. The host, Tottenham, who's obviously on the back of a 3-0 win against Burnley, granted, but still, City got a 4-0 win at Wolves. How do you see this, Gan?
I think this is going to be one of the games of the weekend. I think I can see that being like an absolute crack of that. And I can maybe see a bit of an upset here, and I'm going to go 2-1 Spurs.
2-1 Spurs?
Aye.
I cannot see an upset. I'm going to go 3-1 to City. It's their first game of the season at home. They had a good opening run. And I don't know. I didn't fancy Spurs, to be honest with you, Gary. I really didn't. So I'm going to go 3-1 to Man City. Let's see what people are saying in the comments. Gaming Legend's gone 3-0. West Ham against Chelsea's gone for Chelsea. Will Melvin. City. Martin Gallen's gone for 2-1. The Gentle Giant's gone for 2-2. As has Jake Hall. And your man has gone for a draw, but ones each. Peter Tate's obviously gone from City because he's a City fan. City 3, Spurs 1. Chelsea win, says Gaming Legend. Ricky Armstrong has gone for 3-2 to City. And Gaming Legend has gone for 2-1 Man Shitty. Right, moving on. Let's go. Bournemouth against Wolves.
Bournemouth 2 out. Bournemouth 2 out. I think they win that game. 3-1 Bournemouth.
Yeah, I'm going to go for 3-1 to Bournemouth. You're going 2 now, Bournemouth, yeah?
Aye.
Yeah. Let's see what people are going to go for in the comments. We'll save these. Have you told everybody about what do you call it? You should get a link up. Send us the link.
It's in the group, isn't it?
Put it in these comments if you can, Gary, on Facebook, and then people can join. Start with Fantasy League. If you get it in now, it'll start this weekend. And we'll just have a big crack about it every week. Manda starting it off for Bournemouth against Wolves. She's gone 2-1 to Bournemouth. Martin Gallen's gone 3-1. Peter Tate thinks it'll be nouts each. Jake Hall thinks it'll be 3-1. And Ricky Armstrong thinks it'll be 2-0 to Bournemouth. So a lot of favour for Bournemouth there. Rightly so and all. I think Wolves is another team that'll struggle this year, especially away from home. If they cannot win at home, they'll not do much away from home. Peter Tate, Gary drinking again. There's some good messages in the group later.
I've got it on mute as a whoppers.
Melvin's gone for 3-1 to Bournemouth as well. Moving on. Brentford against Aston Villa. How do you see it going, Gary?
Brentford were poor at the weekend. So will Villa, like, but I think Villa will turn it around. I'm going to go on 2-1 Villa.
2-1 Villa. I'm going to go on 1-1, mate.
1-1.
Yeah. Brentford obviously were poor away to Nottingham Forest. And Villa were poor at home. I mean, they had a good 25, 30 minutes in the second half, but apart from that, they weren't very good. Martin Gallen's gone for 2-1 to Villa. Peter Tate's gone for 2-1 to Villa. Ricky Armstrong's gone for 2-1 to Villa. Jake Hall's gone ones each. Melvin's gone 2 now to Villa. And any more? Any more for Spenny Moore? I'm gonna go. Did I pick mine? I didn't, did I?
No.
I'm gonna go on ones each.
I thought you were going to go 2-1 Villa there.
Yeah, I'm gonna go on ones each. I think it'll be a draw. But you know what? Watching Watkins play, mate, he was poor. But I don't know if it's lack of match fitness or what. But you know,
it's first game of the season.
You know what though, Gary? It is first game of the season, but the professional footballer shot in training.
I know, but maybe he wanted to go to Man U.
Who?
Watkins, like they were asking for him, weren't they? Maybe he's got the lip on. Maybe he's wanted to go to Man United. Well, he might.
Everybody else wanted to, didn't they?
But everyone else wanted to go to Man United. We can't take his out. We can't take his out. We'll take some. We'll take Tonali.
Yeah. Moving on. Burnley against the Premier League, top of the Premier League for 3 hours. Sunderland. How do you see that, Gan?
Oh, I'm gonna say a 2-1 Sunderland.
I'm gonna go on 2-1 Sunderland. That's exactly what I'm gonna go on. 2-1 to Sunderland.
2-1 Sunderland.
Should have beat them last year. It was Trafford, wasn't it? Saved 2 penalties in the last minute. You seen that?
Not Guggeres.
Yeah,
I'm pleased. I'm pleased we didn't get him now. Holy shit!
It was a total plan. It was absolutely executed perfectly, like we wanted them. So Arsenal dived in, got him. Then we went and got the main one. Sesko, come here.
Well, I think what happened is we sent Paul Mitchell to Newcastle, and then he told all the signings that Newcastle was going to make, just so he could mug them off.
Shut up, Harry says you're a man. He wanted to go to Man United because we're mint. Martin Gallen's gone for 3-1 to Sunderland. Gallen likes Sunderland, you know. He does. Peter Tate doesn't. He's gone 2-1 to Burnley. Ricky Armstrong's gone 5 now to Burnley. Amanda Wave's gone 2 now to Burnley. Jake Hall 2-1. And Melvin has gone 2-1 to Sunderland. Like Beavis said, you too. He doesn't even Peter. He does.
Yeah, get another tequila.
Laughing his tits off, and his last is Terry's done. What are you laughing at? He's as a fucking man.
Grow up on Peter.
Grow up, Peter. Come on, Cancun. Moving on. Arsenal against Leeds is a 17:30 kickoff. How do you see it going?
I'm going to say 1-1.
I'm going to go 3-1 Arsenal.
Yeah, that's right.
I think Gokeres will score this weekend. Obviously, doing there. You're upping the scoring for Arsenal, and they'll win 3-1. I didn't want to say that because I really didn't like them, but that's what I think is going to happen. Peter Tate's gone for 4-1 Arsenal. Martin Gallen's gone 2-1 Arsenal. Amanda's gone 3-1 Arsenal. Jake Hall's gone for a stalemate. Now to Pete. Now to peace. Any more? Yes, Ricky Armstrong's gone 2-0 Arsenal. Yes, so everybody's favouring Arsenal, I think, apart from Jake Hall, who went 0-0. I didn't think so. I can't see a draw. I think it just got Arsenal written all over. George Leck. George Leck's gone 0-0. Melvin's gone for 3 now to Arsenal. Moving on, Sunday, 2:00 kickoff. Remember, all games is live on a Sunday now. You can do split screen. If they're all kicking off at the same time, you can watch them. It's Crystal Palace against Nottingham Forest. How do you see that going, mate?
Couldn't
score in the brothel, that took egg.
Who's the other Gokeres? I think that might end up being. I'm going to go on 2-2. I cannot really pick between these two. I think 2 half decent sides. Aye.
I'm going to go on 3-1 Palace. I think they'll be strong at home. too strong for Forest, I think. 3-1. And let's see what people are saying here. Ricky, was that 2-2? Yeah, Ricky's gone 2-2. Martin Gallen's gone 2-2. Martin Gallen, what shite these two talking? That's Jamie Dixon. Jamie Dixon supports Man U, but pretends he supports Toon. Amanda Webb has gone 1-1. Peter Tate, Palace 2, Forest 0. Jake Hole's also gone 2-0 to Palace. George Leck's gone 2-0 to Palace. Are you sitting in the same room as Jake Hole? George. Melbourne's gone 2-1. Palace, Mateta 2. Gary says, between these two, both finished above your lot, man. You love it, doing it. That one.
Now, Peter, it was in the past. Get over it.
Get over it in the past. 100%. Everton back in the sorry, not back into the new stadium for the first time, hosting Brighton. How do you see it going? They've got to win that, haven't they? The Hill Dickinson Stadium.
What a name!
Like, what are you coming with Muckle Dark Town, aren't you? Start like doing fucking cardboard steel stuff and that. How do you see it going?
The Hill Dickinson Stadium. Who come up with that? Christ. Brighton win 1-0.
Brighton win 1. Nah, I'm going to go 2-0 to Everton. They've got to win the first game in that new stadium, man. If you can't get up for that, there's something the matter with you. Jesus Christ. It's massive. That is massive, isn't it? It is a big deal, though, isn't it? Spent a lot of money. It's the first game in the... You didn't want to go and do it in history as losing your first game in your new stadium, do you?
You didn't, but it doesn't mean they'll win.
Yeah, I'm going Everton 2-0. And Martin Gallen's gone 2-0 to Brighton. Peter Tate's gone 1-0 to Brighton. So is Jake Hole. He says he hates Everton, Peter Tate. Amanda's gone 1s each. Melvin's gone 1-0 Everton. George Leck 2-1 Everton.
You know why Peter hates Everton, though? It's because they beat them on the last game of the season, not going to the Champions League, but Man U beat Villa, so they still got it, you see.
Got in.
That's why he likes Man U now.
Yes. I got you. You think they would show a bit more respect, wouldn't you, Gary? Ricky Armstrong's gone out each and 1-0 Melbourne. Fulham 1-0. What's he on? Is he?
He's under the Man U game already.
What are you going for, Gary? Fulham Man U? Fulham Man U, what are you going for?
I'm going 3-0 Man United.
3-0 Man U. I think seeing now, honestly. I can't see nothing else. I just think it'll just be quick fire goals in the first half, get it all on done with, and then we'll just be able to.
I was going to say 5, but I didn't want to get carried away.
Aye. See him. Gallen's gone 1-0 to Fulham. Big fan, you silly fucker, says Peter. Peter Tate's gone Fulham 2, Man United 0. Jesus. When does Toon play?
Monday night.
Monday. Amanda's gone for 1s each.
1s each?
Yeah, why not lately?
Did you not watch the game on Sunday?
Melvin's gone 3-1 Man U. George Leck's gone 2-0. Melly's talking like Ten Hag. Hey, lad. You can imagine what our group's like, can't you? A couple of leads are in my group, really. Honestly, I really feel like leaving sometimes, but I'm not that immature. Who would leave a group? Who would leave a group? Jesus. 5-0 to United. United. Come on. Ricky Armstrong, 4-1 to Man U. Get in, Ricky. You were my top striker, and that's why, son, because I always like you. Mint. Martin Gallen, Liverpool 5-0. Executive box owner, giving them tens of thousands of pounds a year, and he's gone 5-0 to Liverpool. Can we wait a minute? I need to get a quick picture of this. Because he will deny it, will he? Got it. Man United haven't scored more than 2 for 8 months. Peter, what do you think the score will be between Liverpool and the Toon?
I'm sure we'll beat Villa. I'm sure we'll score 3 against Villa on the last game of the season to get Newcastle Champions League football.
How? Peter's gone for 2-1 in Newcastle. Google, what's the time in Mexico?
The time in Mexico City, CDMX, Mexico is 15:03.
Peter, you can't be drunk now. You can't be drunk at 50. Peter, you could have scored. You could have played for 2 weeks and not scored against Aston Villa, man. A shit Villa team. And you think you're going to score 2 past Liverpool? Look at this. This is brilliant. Liverpool 3-0. Jake Hall says, Isaac hat-trick. Sorry, misprint, says Gallen 6 now. Ricky Armstrong's gone for frees each. Peter Tate saying, I don't drink, man. We put the green down, then put the spliff down, mate. 2-0 to Liverpool, says Melvin. George Leck's gone for 0-0. Well, it'll definitely be nil on Newcastle's behalf, George. But I think Newcastle, Liverpool's got too much in attack for not to score, mate. Just my opinion. Gordon and Big Joe. Gordon and Big Joe scores. Is that what he's gone for? Gordon and Big Joe. Well, you know. Oh, if anybody's going to score, it's going to be Gordon because he doesn't like them, does he? Apparently being an Evertonian, although he's linked heavily for the end of the season to go to Liverpool. I don't know if you've seen that. Let me just quickly, Gary, before we leave, share this screen.
I'm going to get 3-0 Liverpool anyway.
Oh, you're not sure?
No.
3-0 Liverpool.
3-0 Liverpool.
Right, look, this is just quickly the latest transfer news of the night. Galatasaray offered a bid for Edison for 10 million. Donnarumma has already opened doors to the City move. Bit shit on Trafford, but that's just another player that's made a stupid decision to go into a big club. I mean, he didn't have any choice, really, did he? They had a clause in his contract. Obviously, we'll release this earlier on. Isaac has said, I want out of the Toon. I'm sick of it. Get me to Liverpool or PSG or Real Madrid. Just anywhere, not here. So he's gone, even though he's in the team of the year there. Krustovich has gone to Atlanta. Any more? Nottingham Forest and Douglas Luiz. Deal almost done. Good signing for Forest, that, mate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Into Miami, we're not interested in. They call it soccer, for God's sake. Napoli and Sevilla have discussed again about Gianalo. Let's get if there's any Premier League. Adley, the Bournemouth. Here we go. Deal done. Packages medical will follow in the next 24 hours. After Ben Doak, AFCB will also sign Adley as Leverkusen give green light. So they made a couple of signings this week, mate, which they needed to do. Any more? I'm just looking to see if any Newcastle's done out or not. Rabiot and Jonathan Rowe are available for sale, says Marseille. Rabiot's not a bad player, you know. Everybody was taking the piss when he was going to come to Man U last year.
Yeah, apparently that's if you read into that though, that's both of them is due to bad behaviour and stuff. The clubs put them both on the transfer list for that. It's probably being late and stuff. And
you didn't want him, do you?
Nah.
Munez deal offers Fulham didn't accept Atlanta's 40 mil proposal. Napoli keep moving for new striker after Lukaku was injured. They've made contact with Araujo Dare's camp. Chelsea are advancing in talks to sign Garnacho, deal underway with Man United. Excellent relationship between United CEO Barada and Chelsea hierarchy. Garnacho only won CFC and turned down an approach from Bayern in the last 48 hours.
Idiot.
Yes, should have went. Absolute fool. Right, so that is it. Need transfer news from Newcastle. Not a lot, really, from Man United. 1 week's over. It's another loss for Manchester United. It's a draw for Newcastle. It's a win for Sunderland and a win for the likely two. Man City in Liverpool. Will the form continue? Will Man United score a goal? Will Newcastle score a goal? Who knows? We'll be back next Tuesday at 8.
Next Tuesday.
No, you'll not. Are you in?
I'll still come on, though.
Will you?
On my phone. Well, yeah.
That's what I want. Commitment. Just what Ruben wants. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining us. We'll see you next Tuesday at 8 o'clock. Maybe it's a little bit earlier, but I'll put it out in good enough time. Thanks very much. We'll see you next week. Ta-da.
Ta-da.